Hi, folks. This is Mountainman coming to you from parts unknown. How is everyone tonight? I hope you're doing well. I am once again simulcasting on Rumble and YouTube, and we're got a lot to talk about. Oh, Trump giving some intel drops, multiple subjects. I'll talk about that. If I was in Colombia, Mexico, or Congress, I'd be panicking. If I was one of those baddies. But anyway, we got more stuff coming out about Epstein's friends that he texts with, his text bros, and what do they call female friends? He texts, whatever. I don't know, but there's a lot of stuff coming out, and things are falling into place. But what do I do when I go live? I give people a little time, and I also put up videos that are prescient and for intros. So give people time to get a cup of coffee, a cold brouhaha, or maybe a glass of wine, whatever you would like. And then what do? We'll be like butter and get on a roll.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. Do I think he was killed? 100%. Yes, I do. Because he made his whole living blackmailing people. There were a lot of men in those planes, a lot of men who visited that island, a lot of powerful men who came into that apartment.
ABC and Robach released statements today, essentially saying that the story wasn't ready for air. She said that, and they said that as well, not fully vetted. ABC has still not run all these years later, and he's dead now.
On with this guy. I don't know. Is that the actual painting?
That is the painting.
That's beyond weird.
You know what's telling is where he put that painting. That painting was in the entrance. So when you came in, right, the entrance of his apartment in New York, I believe, that painting was in the entrance. Why? That's a power play. That tells you, wow, I own you.
Wow, big. That's so gangster.
That was in Clinton's?
No, that was in Epstein's apartment.
Holy
Manhattan.
shit.
When you walk into we can fact check me, but when you walk into the right, it's there. You put a former president in a dress and high heels in your entry of your apartment. Yeah. What does that say?
I own you.
Wait, is that supposed to be the Lewinsky dress, by the way?
I don't.
You really think that Clintons are involved in Jeffrey Epstein's death? I have no idea. I know he was on his plane 27 times, and he said he was on the plane 4 times. But when they checked the plane log, Bill Clinton, who was a very good friend of Epstein, he was on the plane about 27 or 28 times. So why did he say 4 times? And then the question you have to ask is, did Bill Clinton go to the island? Because Epstein had an island that was not a good place, as I understand it, and I was never there. So you have to ask, did Bill Clinton go to the island? That's the question. If you find that out, you're going to know a lot.
The murder of Charlie Kirk was not a political act. The murder of Charlie Kirk was not a political act.
Hey! You ever heard of Ozempic, you fat ass? Hey! You ever heard of Ozempic, you fat ass?
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy.
they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and HE in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it, and I hope everyone's doing well. Let me see who's coming in tonight. I hope you all are settled in. Darla, Todd, Sissy, Randy, nice to see you. Melinda, Gary, haha. Yes, indeed. Oh, it's from a drip to a fire hose, right? Benjamin, nice to see you. Miss Menderson, boom, 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 boom. Oh, my goodness. Ha ha. Wow, everybody's rolling in. That's wonderful to see that. Outlandish is here. Pappy Two Bears is here. Robin's here. Elva's here. Flannel Cheese. Ha ha. Yeah, we got things going. Things are going on. I put news they can't refuse. I came up with that just before I went live, and I was doing my thumbnail, figuring out what I'm going to talk about. I mean, Trump is, well, he said he blew his stack. He said he blew his stack. Let me leave this one up there for you. Don't like deportations? Just ignore them, like you ignore Ted children, right? Oh, happy birthday, Melinda. Happy birthday to you, Scorpio. Isn't that something? Do like I used to say. I used to say, I'm 39 again. Then I had to go, I'm 49 again. I'm 59 again. You know, you try to steal a couple of years, you know. You keep telling people you're 39, 49, 59. So, yeah. Brett, how you doing? What do you mean, Brett? Cole, nice to see you. Who did I miss? If I missed anybody, I apologize. So, anyway, yeah, I put a thumbnail up. I blew my stack. And Trump was, he did blow it. Now, these are pictures I've had for years that used to get me taken out on Facebook. Trump walking away from blowing up the deep state. And we couldn't even use those two words together until Trump started using them. So that's why one of the reasons I'm saying news they can't refuse. The video I played you yesterday of Stacey Plaskett in real time texting with Jeffrey Epstein during a congressional hearing. Well, the story there was that the Washington Post did this investigative work, and the timing of her text versus the video and the time on the video. Oh, well, I think a little birdie's giving them information that they better not ignore. Like I said, one of the media's tricks, one of the powers they have is the power to ignore. Well, I think they're being put in a position where they can't ignore it anymore. News they can't refuse to report. So that's the new saying I'm going to inculcate into the situation. And Trump has come out telling them, let go of the files. Republicans, get them out there. And the timing is just impeccable. Optics mean a lot, don't they? And one of the emails had Epstein saying that Hakeem Jeffries was the Brooklyn Obama. So all these names are getting sucked into the situation, like Trump says. I've got some clips of Trump, and he's letting the cartels know how much intelligence they have on them. They know right where their front doors are, every one of their corridors and routes, and it would be his honor to bomb the hell out of them. Not saying he's going to do it, just saying that he would be honored. Now, Darla, let's see. Wayne's here. Give me thumbs up. Let's see. Who else? Is everybody give me a thumbs up? That helps the video get around, even if you're tuning in after the live. A thumbs up helps the video get around, and I really appreciate it. So let's see what videos have I got. Let's see. Let's play the corridors. I think this is it. I probably got them out. I could get the whole briefing, but I got snippets of it. Let's see about the corridors. We know where they are, and we got a strike group right down there, and we have military exercises I showed you last night, very close to the Venezuelan border.
Do I feel the same way about the corridors that they use? We know every one of them. We have every one of those corridors under major surveillance. We have nobody coming in through our southern border, but we know exactly how they get their things here, how they get the drugs here, fentanyl, cocaine. Colombia has cocaine factories where they make cocaine. Would I knock out those factories? I would be proud to do it personally. I didn't say I'm doing it, but I would be proud to do it because we're going to save millions of lives by doing it.
Would you?
Yeah, we'd save millions of lives. And that is his number one priority, right? Safety and security of the American people. That should be every president's number one priority. So he said you can tell his voice is hoarse. And here's where they asked him about it. And he said, well, I blew my stack. And now, who did he blow his stack at? Listen to what he says. Staff members, you think? Or who?
Your voice sounds a little rough. Are you feeling all right?
I feel great. I was shouting at people because they were stupid about something having to do with trade in a country, and I straightened it out. But I blew my stack at these people.
Shouting at people. The other day, yesterday, he said that Democrats had been coming to him about, and he didn't want to say who they were because it wouldn't be fair to them, but they were warming to the idea of giving the health care money to the people for them to have their own, purchase their own insurance. So was it them he blew his stack at? Because they might have said, well, wait, but we'll do that, but you got to stop the tariffs. maybe that could have been it. Well, this was a report came out yesterday. I didn't know what to make of it. I didn't get into it. Figured I'd hear if I hear anything more. But this person here, he looks like Mr. Sweaty Man's older brother or something. I don't know. I don't know who this person is. Or I know now he's the acting FEMA administrator. David Richardson has resigned, sources say. I don't know anything about him. No one's put out any word on what's happening. And this is ABC News. So, historically fake news. Breaking, acting FEMA administrator David Richardson has resigned, according to sources familiar with the situation. I haven't heard anything. Maybe he's one of the people that Trump blew a stack on. I don't know. I tend to lean toward the maybe the Democrats that came in to meet with him about the health care money. They might have tried to finagle him a little bit on the tariffs. So, and a lot of these Democrats, they're just tools. They don't realize. They don't know the history. They don't know about McKinley. They don't know how this country used to function for 160, 70 years before they assassinated McKinley and stopped the tariffs. Like Reagan said, we got to educate them. Some of them are rescuable. Some of them are not. So we shall see. We shall see. Hi, Bill. How you doing? Ha ha ha. Yeah. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, we were told to keep an eye on that stuff, right? I'm going to talk a little bit more about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I see her name mentioned in there. But, we got the Democrats want her to join them. And I didn't hear it myself, but I heard people reporting that she said she was going to join the Democrat Party. We'll talk about that in a minute. So we've got all this news going on. And what does ABC put up? Here's what ABC puts up. They're going to end up like the BBC and be looking at a $5 billion lawsuit. Trump has jacked it up from $1 billion to possibly $5 billion. And they're wetting their pants over there in the UK, the BBC. But anyway, new images show White House East Wing leveled for $300 million ballroom. That's what they put up this evening. All this stuff that's going on. The Stacey Plaskett revelations of her engaging in a text conversation during impeachment hearings about our president of the United States. And that's what they bring up is the ballroom. And of course, the fevered TDS freaks jump right in to do their comments. But anyway, and most of them, I think, are foreigners and bots. But anyway, for the first time since the government shutdown ended, the sweeping construction of the new White House ballroom is visible again from the White House, from the Washington Monument, with quite a different view taking shape. ABC News took video on Monday of the White House in its altered state from the Washington Monument, which was closed to the public during the 43 days which the government was shut down, which ended November 12th. The new images of the White House show the former site of the East Wing, built in 1902 and renovated in 1942, completely demolished, with several bulldozers and skip loaders clearing the last of the rubble. Well, it's funny how they don't mention Obama's renovation, where they tore the whole damn thing down except for a front wall and a side wall. I showed you all pictures of that. I showed you all a news report with the reporter standing right next to the equipment, tearing the damn thing down. They act like it hadn't been renovated. Nothing's happened since 1942. Manipulating the news, okay? So, yeah, they might end up like the BBC, sucking wind and worried about a lawsuit. But I tell you what, the Washington Post is who opened the story up about Plaskett doing the text messages. Other text messages I feel are going to be coming out. I think the information is being given to them from the administration. Okay, from the chief representative of the chief law enforcement officer of the United States, Donald J. Trump. So you know they got it. So they're giving them news and telling them, you better report it. Don't ignore it. It's a matter of national interest. When you have a convicted P3DO, file, actively texting someone on the floor of the House of Representatives. Oh, yeah, I read something about that. Alex Jones, we're leaving MAGA with MT. I'll tell you that in a second. What I think about that in a second. It's, well, I might as well go ahead and get into it. Let's see. Let's see. Here's Jamie Ratskin. Jamie Ratskin. Now, what did he do? He was getting information about Ghislaine Maxwell. The details got to be solidified on that. But word on the street is that he was disclosing some information about Maxwell conversations, attorney-client privilege conversations. How did he get those? And then did he release them? I mean, we're talking criminal surveillance and violation of rights, and he selectively letting information out to bring down a president. But anyway, here he is warming up to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Let me just say a couple more things to you great Florida Democrats. One of them is we are a big tent. We must be a huge, vast tent. I say this is a party that's got room for Marjorie Taylor Greene if she wants to come over. We got room for anybody who wants to stand up for the Constitution and for the Bill of Rights today. One of my colleagues who left from South Carolina, Trey Gowdy, said to me on the way out, he said, Raskin, you're not a bad guy. The problem with you is you're liberal. I said, you're damn right I'm a liberal. The heart of that word is liberty. And I'm a progressive because the heart of that word is progress. But my favorite thing to call myself today is a conservative because I want to conserve the land, the air, the water, the climate system, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act, the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, the National Labor Relations Act, the Fair Labor Standards Act, the Voting Rights Act, Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, everything that party of authoritarians wants to destroy is everything we're going to conserve and defend in America. We are the party of the conservatives, the liberals, and the progressives. All the patriots today are in the party of democracy.
That's who we are.
You're the party of the furries, the degenerates, the pagans, you name it. That's what you're the party of. And you don't want to conserve the things you're talking about. You want to control the things you're talking about, which is the exact opposite of liberty for people. But anyway, so I put my thinking cap on about this Marjorie Taylor Greene business. Remember last night we had someone come in the chats and, everybody was nice to them. And they were texting in all caps, very much in favor of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Nothing wrong with that. People are entitled to their opinion. And I had said earlier, we don't know what the role is, right? Was it to create a stir, to turn up the temperature even more and the demands even more louder for Epstein stuff? So when Trump says cut it loose, they have no defense. Was Marjorie being an actor in a play? I threw that out there, but I also threw out some of the things that I didn't care for, like the affair she had with her husband, leaving her husband, making unexplained tens of millions of dollars in the stock market, things like that. We don't know, okay? We don't know. But I decided to look up a word in the 17th letter, right? People got worked up over this. Right? Enough so where somebody came in the chats, and if they come back in, they're welcome here. They're welcome here. We understand your passion. This is a dramatic time in human history, not just American history. So I looked up a word, and in the 17th letter. And sometimes I feel bad. I feel like I might be screwing things up, screwing up the, quote, plan. But you know what? I can thank the censori people who have been taking my channel down or suspending me for a week or screwing up my broadcast. I can thank them for keeping me below 2,000 subs for years, because we know that's how YouTube works, right? You get about, 6 subscribers a month. That's the way it goes on YouTube, right? For everybody. Bullshit. Anyway, because not that many people are paying attention to my channel. But you all, that's why you're the Mountain Man News, KNEWS. You knew already. How many things are we talking about that we knew already? So what's the word I put in to look this post up that I remembered in my head? I put one word in the search bar, and it came up and said, there are 0 posts with that word. That's happened to me before. When I thought, connected the dots on an operation that was currently going down. So I put a certain word in, and it says there's no matches. That further reinforced my notion that this may be an operation. Marjorie Taylor Greene may be part of an operation. Can you all see what the word is that I put in to find this post out of almost 5,000 posts? Where's Roland? I got to thank Roland for going to buy me a coffee. I had, while you're looking for that word, see if I get any guesses in the chats. And if it's after the broadcast, put in the comments your guesses. What the heck? But anyway, I heard from one of the founders, the godfather of Buy Me a Coffee. And, I give folks little terms of endearment. But do you all remember Aaron? A-I-R, right? He stopped by to see me, and I'm so glad, because I worried with some people how they're doing and everything. And our friend is doing very well and has stopped by me a coffee. And I want to thank everybody. I call Aaron the Godfather. He was the first one to ever go and buy me a coffee But Wayne also this week, and Roland when Roland comes in, you make sure tell him I said hi. And Mike and Bev, who keep me from getting skunked every week. And of course, I call our friend Gary the chairman of the board. But anyway, there you go. Robin, let's go. Got it. Yeah. Let's go. Goes to the mountain minions. Yeah. Bubba's not in, but he's an early one too. He used to call us the Mountaineers. So he's one of the founders too. Plant is the word. I put that in there. And it said no posts with that word. And I said to myself, BS. So the next word I put in that I knew was in this post, out of 5,000, I still remembered. And the word was emotion. How do you use emotion? Can emotions be used to insert a plant? This was when Cassidy Hutchinson. This is one of the last posts, okay, that we have from the 17th letter. What is at stake? Who has control? Surprise witness. Who was surprised? Who will be surprised? Use your logic. This was the J6 mob, right? Can emotions be used to influence decisions? How do you control emotion? Define plant. How do you insert a plant? Can emotions be used to insert a plant? You better believe it. You just heard Jamie Raskin. He was all emotional and fired up to get Marjorie Taylor Greene. Who is Cassidy Hutchinson? Trusts the plan. Well, wouldn't that be something if you had Marjorie Taylor Greene planted in the Democrat Party, being cajoled? They try to bribe her. They let her in on some inside info. I'm just saying. That would be something. So anyway, if you want to have a little fun, put the word emotion, in your search bar. Where did it go? I had another another picture I wanted to remind you of that I talked about pulling up a while back, and I pulled up several times. Holy cow, I got to go get it. And she's no longer with us. How come my studio isn't responding? Wait a minute. Here we go. Now it's responding. Let me find it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Right here. This came up under emotions. Right here. A lot of you know who these people are. Is she a plant? Lisa Murkowski. I was thinking about that. Look at Dianne Feinstein's face. Who in the world corners a person like that with that kind of a look on their face? And look at Lisa Murkowski explaining herself to the stern and angry Dianne Feinstein, who had a Chinese chauffeur who was a spy, who went to Shanghai and did business with the Chinese Communist Party, who visibly got gray hairs within 20 minutes of having a private meeting after Justice Kavanaugh explained what happens with unlawful combatants. Remember all that, folks? But anyway, so look up the word emotion just to go down memory lane. This was a repost. A picture is worth 1,000 words. See evil in the face of Feinstein. See fear and emotion in the face of Murkowski. A phone was present. And Trump said on Air Force One that volume was terrible. But he said, we've got all the proof that the Democrats were tied up with Epstein. I don't care what they do because it's their problem. He said, we've got the proof. Where do you think the Washington Post got that correlation between the text messages of Stacey Plaskin and the video showing her reading her phone at that exact moment? Does Space Force ring a bell? We have it all. We caught them. We caught them. So anyway, so things are always not what they seem, and we've got to put our emotions aside. And I go along with whatever narrative Mr. T's got, I got. But I got to keep in my mind. Yeah, that was a creepy looking hand, wasn't it, Debbie? That is a photo for the ages. That's going to be shown in history books for hundreds of years, along with many other photos. So anyway, let's see what we got with this Epsteinio crap. Here he is, goofy-looking Jeffrey Epstein. White House, Democrats hiding from their Epstein scandals. This is Newsmax. The White House is accusing Democrats of orchestrating a cover-up of their deep ties to Jeffrey Epstein, saying that the party has gone because the facts point overwhelmingly at them. You know, they hang on to these narratives. Excuse me. They hang on to these narratives. Old and discredited narratives. They got a collection of fans that are boomers and brainwashed, and they've got bots, and they've got foreign posters, people who post from foreign countries. But look, here's Midas Trash Network. Your president, a foreigner, okay, has been compromised by the Russians. Oh, here we go again. Russia, Russia, Russia. This was put on YouTube today. They have the evidence we've been waiting for. Why isn't this grounds for forced resignation? Why the ground for you to mind your own damn business, whatever country you're from? But you read the comments from the fans of Midas Trash Pail Network, one of the biggest podcasters, bigger than Joe Rogan, on what, Sirius, or whatever you pronounce it, I don't know. And they still buy it hook, line, and sinker. But they have an army of bots that put this stuff out. So we're going to fight back with news they can't refuse. I should have done a Godfather type post. I'm going to give you some news you can't refuse. So anyway, I made a comment on I think it was an ABC post where they were talking about the government shutdown ending. And it was some asinine, how did they word it? They worded it like, it was last night. Last night at like 9 o'clock, they put up a post that said, the Department of Transportation says flights will resume tomorrow, and we'll have our normal safety or something like that. And I put in there, Democrats are big mad about the government opening back up, which is true. They're mad because their leverage is gone, what they thought was leverage. And people were messaging me saying, it was the Republicans' fault the government closed, which an idiot would believe that. An idiot. They voted 17, 18, 19 times to open the government up. Now. And the Democrats refused it. And then they caved. But they still put it in there. I told him, I just put in the comments, Go dilate yourself, you delusional person, you. Go dilate yourself. You know what that means, folks. Somebody who doesn't know their gender. So anyway, they stick with this phony crap, and we just got to keep dumping it out there. But the stuff is going to be so sensational, and they're going to give people like that reporter with the Washington Post a chance for exclusive, a chance to make a name for themselves. And I would have to say, my suspicion, Jeffrey Bezos owning the Washington Post, you can bet that Trump's got his thumb behind his ear telling him, you better cooperate with the Truth and Reconciliation Act. So it'd be a great chance. This is a great chance for somebody to come out as a premier reporter, make themselves famous. Anyway, here's where Trump put up the statement last night about Epstein. As I said on Friday night aboard Air Force One on the fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. And it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax perpetrated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party, including our recent victory on the Democrat shutdown. The Department of Justice has already turned over tens of thousands of pages to the public on, quote, Epstein. Are looking at various Democrat operatives, Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, Larry Summers, etc. Don't forget J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan tied in with Stacey Plaskett in the Virgin Islands and given a bunch of money to Epstein and the Clinton Foundation. Anyway, and their relationship to Epstein and the House Oversight Committee can have whatever they're legally entitled to. I don't care. All I do care about is Republicans get back on point, which is the economy, affordability. We're winning big. Our victory on reducing inflation from the highest level in history to practically nothing, bringing down prices for the American people, delivering historic tax cuts, gaining trillions of dollars of investment into America, a record rebuilding of our military, securing our border, deporting criminal illegal aliens, ending men and women's sports, stopping transgender for everyone, and so much more. Nobody cared about Epstein when he was alive. If the Democrats had anything, they would have released it before our landslide of election victory. They would have released it before you got to the bottom of the escalator. Some members of the Republican Party are being used, and we can't let that happen. Let's start talking about the Republican Party's record-setting achievements and not fall into the Epstein trap, which is actually a curse on the Democrats, not us. Make America great again. So, then Trump posted this about Christopher Wray. Wray lied. And this is a response. He reposted this thing from Chris Martineau. Christopher Wray lied before Congress that he did not place agents in crowd on J6. He put up this meme. Chris Farley, the Chris Farley for the love of God meme, telling Pam Bondi, just arrest somebody. So that's another message from Trump. So we'll have to see what Wray's role was. Was he a deep plant? I don't know. I think we shall see. And that's my notion, and I'm still considering, is that he was there undeniably in a position to get the facts. And like I said, sometimes if you want to trip up the devil, you got to dance with him. I don't know. We shall see. Here's Trump talking in this press conference, talking about Epstein. Let me see, right here. after he told everybody he blew his stack about trade issues. But let me see. I'll go cut my mic off.
Here's what I want. We have nothing to do with Epstein. The Democrats do. All of his friends were Democrats. You look at this Reid Hoffman, you look at Larry Summers, Bill Clinton, they went to his island all the time, and many others. They're all Democrats. All I want is for people to recognize a great job that I've done on pricing, on affordability, because we brought prices way down, but they're going way lower, on energy, on ending 8 wars and another one coming pretty soon, I believe. We've done a great job. And I hate to see that deflect from the great job we've done. So I'm all for it. You know, we've already given 50,000 pages. You do know that. Unfortunately, like with the Kennedy situation, with the Martin Luther King situation, not to put Jeffrey Epstein in the same category, but no matter what we give, it's never enough. You know, with Kennedy, we gave everything and it wasn't enough. With Martin Luther King, we gave everything and it's never enough. We've already given, I believe the number is 50,000 pages, 50,000 pages. And it's just a Russia hoax as it pertains to the Republicans. Now, I believe that some of the people that we mentioned are being looked at very seriously for their relationship to Jeffrey Epstein, but they were with him all the time. I wasn't at all. And we'll see what happens. What I just don't want Epstein to do is detract from the great success of the Republican Party, including the fact that the Democrats are totally blamed for the shutdown. You know, they cost our country hundreds of billions of dollars with that, at a lot of inconvenience. So I'm for I don't, they can do whatever they want. We'll give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much, because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax. And I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period.
That reminds me of the post that said, focus, focus, focus. And that's what Trump is looking at now. Look at all the things we've done to help the country. That's good. So anyway, we got, here we go. Zoran Mamdani, Trump is going to be meeting with him. Ain't that something? He's going to be meeting with Maduro. Maduro, he sees this business of the strike group right outside of his country. He wants to trade or give away oil. He wants to meet. He wants to sing the communist national anthem. Imagine all the people. And who else are we going to meet with? The American Maduro. All right. Zoran Mamdani, the commie. President Trump said Sunday that he plans to meet with New York City's mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani, adding that the two will work something out. Yeah, Trump's going to work something out with him, all right. He's going to tell him, our immigration laws, you're supposed to disclose that you're a member of the Communist Party. Are you a member of the Communist Party? If you are, you got to go. But anyway, I don't know. We shall see what will come of that. And Mamdani's not the only commie. We got one in Seattle, right? And Trump met with the president of the soccer organization, FIFA, right? And he told him, where's that video, the clip? He told him, we don't need to go to Seattle for the game. We can put it somewhere else. Because why do we have to fool with a communist local government. Let me see. Let me find that. Let's see. I might not have got that uploaded. I should have. My goodness. Well, you'll take my word for it. I'll be darned. Ain't that something? It didn't get uploaded. Maybe it's on my let me see. Maybe it's on a download. Nope. Well, anyway, Seattle may be losing the World Cup because of their communist government. I'm just looking through the chats. See if anybody snuck in on me. Hi, Sparky. Yvonne. Who else snuck in? Kim's here. Let's see. I don't want to miss anybody. And we probably have two Debbies, right? But anyway, so yeah, we're going to be getting rid of these. Here's a story Newsmax put out. Digging their own grave. Democrats blocked the release of the Epstein file. That's another thing back and forth in the comments on a YouTube video. So nobody ever heard of the two Democrat judges that are blocking the release of the files? Nobody's ever. How come they're meet on that except for Newsmax and Fox? So nobody's ever heard of a grand jury secrecy, where when there's grand juries meeting over criminal charges that you can't divulge going on in those meetings. Nobody's heard of that either. It's not being reported on. They're acting like Trump is holding these files and doesn't want anybody to have them. When the Democrats and Democrat judges, they say, well, this one was a Reagan-appointed judge. Well, if he's from the Ninth Circuit, that is a Democrat judge. Whether Reagan appointed, because they have that blue slip requirement. You have to get a blue slip from a Democrat senator. You can nominate any judge. And that guarantees some whack job liberal goes in there. So we need to get rid of that blue crap. Hi, Mac. How you doing? I'm not being mean about Mom Dami. I wouldn't bat an eye if he got deported. I thought he should be deported. The Ruskies were reporting again about this carrier group right here. This is the carrier group for the Gerald Ford. Yeah, you see bombers, flying jet planes. You see cruisers. You see the largest aircraft carrier in the U.S. fleet. Hi, Rude Dog. How you doing? And what do they say about them? You know, I kind of keep an eye on Ruski News because if they're quiet, and sometimes they may be giving us a heads up about things. Like when Trump was, I'll play the clips where he's talking about the cartels, some more about the cartels. But while he's doing that, and while Maduro's begging for a meeting, this gets reported on Ruski News. I didn't hear it from ABC or anybody else. State Department Secretary Rubio has announced that the U.S. will designate Cartel de los Solos as a foreign terrorist organization. The release noted the group is, quote, by the illegitimate Nicolas Maduro and is responsible for terrorist violence. So, Maduro, you're hearing it from the State Department. You're a criminal. Okay? and you're in the Western Hemisphere, and the Monroe Doctrine is going to be enforced. Okay, you're going to go, that cabal in Brazil is going to be gone, and Cuba. I mean, we don't need, what are we doing with a commie government, a failed state 90 miles off our shore with Cuba? Colombia got the message. They bombed those cartels. I read you that report the other day. So, yeah. Maduro, you're not going to talk your way out of this. I made up my mind. And they put up this, oddly enough, this is from Ruski News last night. Why would they post this? I don't have a problem with it. I copied the video. That generals who disagree with him will lose their rank and future. This happened month. Speaking to the generals, the U.S. president suggested that those who do not support him room. You can do whatever you want. If you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, lose your rank, and with it, your future, Trump said. And I'm thinking, why would they do that? I think this is a joint operation where we're cleaning up our backyard and Russia's going to clean up their backyard. Backyard phase of this, of the alliance of the New World Order. You clean up your backyard, we'll clean up. I firmly believe that. And here is Trump. It's a reminder to the generals, Russian news organizations.
Do anything you want. You can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future.
Yeah. Say goodbye to your future if you leave the room. And we had a general resign. Now, stick with me on this. Zelensky has met with Macron, and they cut a deal for some jet fighters. But also, there's stuff going on in Poland. And when you think about it, things come together. Let's use some of these posts from Ruski News. An armed attack is being prepared against Poland. At least that's what Chief of the General Staff of the Polish General Westlaw Kukla says. Well, now wait a second. I saw a report yesterday from our wonderful news organizations. Look. Oh, I got to take that one down. I got to take one of these pictures down. Let's see. Look at this. Who's posting this? ABC News? Yeah, ABC News. Polish railway explosion. Unprecedented act of sabotage, Prime Minister says. And there he is. Police. They put this up yesterday. What does that say? It says there was an issue. Right? I'm not exaggerating. News. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said an explosion on a railway line connecting the capital Warsaw to the southeastern city of Lublin was an unprecedented sabotage. You're thinking, oh my God, did anybody die? Did a train get blown up? What happened? Tusk did not name any such or motive for the alleged sabotage. The Prime Minister did, however, note the line's importance in delivering aid. Polish blaming Russia. Polish forces said the damage was discovered during a train driver reported irregularities. So, oh, there was an explosion? If you believe ABC fake news, people run around explosion. Well, my studio's freezing up, but let me finish the report. The enemy has begun preparations for war. This was today. It's creating a certain situation here, the goal of which is to undermine public trust in the government in such key areas as the armed forces and the police, as well as to create conditions favorable to potential aggression on the territory of Poland. In other words, he's trying to set something up. Well, I look at more reports of that, and they got this up. Well, this one I gotta take down. I'll get to that in a minute. The Poles stated someone damaged the railway to Ukraine. What does anybody know Russian in the chats? What does kurva mean? Bober kurva. So here's the pictures that ABC was an explosion. Blaming Russia. And here's the Prime Minister. Same location, ABC News. Polish Prime Minister Tusk showed the site of the railway sabotage equipment was supplied to Ukraine. It reminds me, and Viva Frey brought this up, the invasion of Poland by Adolf was through a staged event. Hi, Graybeard, how you doing? So, I got a video, on the scene with the minister, and I won't play those, but just to show you, there's a little piece of track, and something struck me while I was listening. You can't accept the word explosion. I think he said explosives. But all the trains are moving. There's nothing been stopped. And it looks like something an amateur could. But anyway, what do you notice about their train system? I'll see if you... Let me play it.
Jesteśmy w miejscu eksplozji niedaleko Garwolina, Simika. Eksplozji, która miała najprawdopodobniej na celu wysadzenie pociągu na trasie Warszawa-Dęblin. Nie ma niestety wątpliwości, że mamy z aktem dywersji. Na szczęście nie doszło do tragedii. Jest bardzo poważna. Na miejscu jest policja.
It's not playing very good. They don't show the they don't show any damage. My student is not responding. Daggone it. They don't show any damage. But what you notice about they're electric. Kim got it. Our government in the headlock of the climate change lunatics that spend trillions of dollars, give them trillions of dollars. But the real what I'm talking about is this. Let me find it. Macron stated that the top Western peacekeepers in Ukraine again after the war. A coalition of the willing operating near Paris discussing deploying Western troops in Ukraine from the front line after a ceasefire. And I won't read the rest of it, but let me get to this point. Here it is. The armed forces of Ukraine could be stationed protected from Russia after the war. European Commissioner of Defense Kublis. What is he saying? The armed forces could be stationed in Europe out. Talking about removing the army from Ukraine in European nations like France. It would be good for the Ukrainian army, after peace is established in Ukraine, to be ready to be present of our border region, starting from the Baltics and Lithuania, alongside and rotating American battalions. My point is, what did Putin say at the very beginning of the war? And on my channel that I got taken down, I had videos about Russian demand. Why? One of the reasons my channel got taken down. But anyway, I've said it in my I repeated what Lavrov and wanted to demilitarize Ukraine. That was a non-negotiable, and to de-Yatzify it. Wanted the Yazis, what I mean, and demilitarize Ukraine. What is this statement saying? They're taking the army out of Ukraine. That means they're taking all those who were running around with copies of Mein Kampf, all the soldiers with the tattooed on their bodies, pictures of Adolf on their bodies. Remember that? So this is what I mean by Russia's cleaning up. It's being handled through NATO. Save face with this post right here. But they're going to Ukraine and get the Yazis out. And Trump is going to get rid of communists in the Western Hemisphere. And the reason I'm saying Cuba is going to fall, government in Cuba, because I believe during his first term, that was part of the deal. You want us to help you get the Donbass and clean Ukraine out. You get the hell out your influence out of Cuba. That includes Venezuela. That includes Brazil, and that certainly. See what I'm saying, folks? Does it make sense to me? Here it is. I think it's the last report. Against the backdrop of a crisis in the United States, has deployed a strike group led by the world's largest Gerald R. Ford to the Caribbean Sea. On board, as well as dozens of aircraft, including fighter support aviation. Of the strike group, American military officials noted, is related to the situation in the region. Maduro's got to go if you're going to tell him. I don't give a damn where you go. Go to China. Go to Russia. Earlier, the Pentagon announced the launch of Operation Southern Spear, Western Hemisphere, and also communist influence. Right, Mom Dami? I know I ran around Robin Hood's barn to tell you, this is the stage we're at. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, this. Let's see how my videos were not playing good. I don't know. Illinois, another place they're not admitting it, but they might as well. They've destroyed the education system over there. Massive fraud with food stamps and Medicare and Medicaid and dealing with USAID. Okay, I'll say communist enclave. Now here they've spent sellers on teachers, educators, when they have a $7 deficit in their education budget. They've taken COVID money, went on luxury vacations. I'll let you go ahead and listen to the report.
Expenses at the Chicago public school system. Employees at the cash-strapped district spent millions on trips to Las Vegas and even overseas. What is up with this? Mike Tobin is live there in the Windy City. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Data. The Inspector General took a look at the travel expenses of teachers and principals in the Chicago public school systems and concluded that when the bank accounts were fat with COVID money, the staff ran wild, as you mentioned, trips to Egypt, Finland, Hawaiian resorts, even one on a safari. And there was no oversight to stop them. The amount spent on travel in 2021 was $300,000. It jumped up in 2022 to $3.4 million, doubled in 2023, and kept getting bigger in 2024. The report concludes that more scrutiny was put to whether the expense paperwork was done correctly than whether the expenses were excessive. As a result, more than 90% of the traveling employees went over the allowable limits. Oftentimes, lodging and airfare was double the allowable rate. One of the reasons the trips were not rejected is that they were not asking for approval. Of 15 international trips noted by the Inspector General, 12 were never submitted for approval. And then we start seeing wildlife trips, balloon rides, staff staying extra days for personal reasons, and this in a school district that claims a $700 million budget hole.
We do need more special ed teachers, but if you can think about the fact that $7.7 million in wasted taxpayer money for balloon rides and looking at giraffes and elephants could have gone to hiring 100 of those special ed teachers. These are the questions that we need to be asking.
Upon release of the Inspector General's report, Chicago Public Schools froze all overnight travel with this statement. This measure reflects our continued commitment to responsible financial stewardship and to prioritizing resources that directly support classrooms and students. As far as performance, less than half of 3rd to 8th graders are reading at grade level. Less than a quarter are proficient in math. Dana?
Mike? It sounds like there might be more of this where that came from, unfortunately. Thank you.
Story.
Well, I know that video is playing rough. I hope my voice was coming through okay. I was trying to point out. But here they're putting out this statement. This is our doing a good job. What are you talking about? They pissed away cruises and vacations. You know, and nobody is taking responsibility. People graduating and can't even flipping read. Trump blew his stack, but Hawaii, Kailua, how you pronounce that? Kailua volcano erupts. Well, maybe it's full of pagans and freaky furries. I got a video of it. Liberal Democrats. Man, my studio's really dragging. Let me see. That doesn't it? Let me see if I can make this play smoother. Yeah, I can tell when it's getting glitchy because my studio doesn't respond. Especially when I'm trying to explain something. Oh, guess what? FCC Chair Brandon Carr and Donald Trump for NBC to fire late night television. Now, did you all see any video of him that he acted like an idiot and had a temper tantrum, slammed, libelous? Oh, I like that purple tie on the episode. I think when we have white hats wearing purple, it's to troll. Okay? The counter insurgency. And it's got no picture? You should have a picture. You can hear my voice. Okay, well, that's the main thing. Oh man, my there we go. So, when I stop talking, it's because I'm trying to get this video to move. All right, where he's talking about the I believe this is the one that's about the cartels. He doesn't want to move. Black screen, voice and picture. Let me see. This might be where Trump said he knows right where the front door is.
To Mexico, they know how I stand. We're losing hundreds of thousands of people to drugs. So now we've stopped the waterways, but we know every route. We know every route. We know the addresses of every drug lord. We know their address. We know their front door. We know everything about every one of them. They're killing our people. That's like a war. Would I do it? I'd be proud to. I'd probably go into Congress and say, hey, and you know what? The Democrats and the Republicans would both agree. Unless they're crazy. And they are a little crazy on the Democrat side. But we have lost hundreds of thousands of people a year, death. And that's not talking about family destruction, that's talking about death. And much of it comes through Mexico. So let me just put it this way. I am not happy with Mexico, okay? Thank you.
He's not happy with Mexico. He knows where the front door is. It's like a war. And he'd be proud to take. Let's see what this one is. Let's see what this one is. Same setting. Let's see what this is.
Also potentially in Mexico or putting American troops or American personnel into Mexico to deal with it.
Would I launch strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? It's okay with me. Whatever we have to do to stop drugs. Mexico is, look, I looked at Mexico City over the weekend. There's some big problems over there. If we had to, would we do there what we've done to the waterways? You know, there's almost no drugs coming in through our waterways anymore.
Yeah, it's glitch. But anyway, he's putting it out there. Go after those cartels, and they're going to get rid of Maduro. The drug boat got blown up. You know, it's getting to the point, like, you know. This is another. I don't know what we're up to. Do you know? Look how fast that thing. But it's also ordnance hitting the water behind it. As far as blowing the hell out of it. On board. Boy, that's weird. It just jumped right off my screen. I'll be darned. Goodbye. That's what I was going to put in my thumbnail action. But I settled for the thumbnail where he said, but it is systematic destruction of the old guard. It only was. Fit today's circumstances. Let me put that back up. Here we go. Hard time moving stuff in the old studio. I think it's internet connection more than anything else. Come on, studio. Get that out of there. There we go. I want to tell you about this one. Trump put out a comment about Tina Peters. The thing is going to happen. Some sleeper. I said Arizona was a sleeper. The rampant voter fraud is out very recently. Innocent patriot who has been tortured by crooked, the big mail-in supporting the governor of the state. Out of jail right now. She did nothing wrong, except she's an old woman and very... Well, better than the fight like this. I'm going to tell you all something about what happened. I got this one meme I wanted y'all to see. Wow. I'm not having a good time here, folks. But anyway, this meme to put on your set, and I'm gone. Y'all can hear me, can't you? All this last night. Before I sign off, because my one of our YouTube channel before, and I shown his thumbnails before. I hope you all can hear me. I saw it just before I went live last. I have a brain tumor and need emergency. Nate, the lawyer, day after tomorrow, Wednesday. The picture. He started feeling bad. He went to the doctor. Massive tumor in his brain. Where did it go? Wednesday. Picture of his tumor. He posted this today. Your precious time. He had no idea. Here's my brain tumor. It's young man with a wife and kids. Headaches and not being able. So y'all stop by and name your support. Let him know you're thinking about him. Sure. It's important to him to see thumbs ups, folks. Talk some more about it. Thank you all. And it's only a matter of time, folks. Posting my pictures of it's all about that. I'm having a hard time for spending your precious time with me. I'll be posting Wednesdays rough.